Hello, and thanks for joining me today. You are listening to Alive with Dr. Nimira. Over the last decade, I've been spending my days taking care of mostly women who not only have aches and pains, but who've also spent the last decade or two putting their career and family first. I stand for a world where we can live our passions and purpose all out without the fear of our physical bodies giving out. I've created this podcast, Alive, always living in vibrant energy, as a quick way for you to learn more about your body. This really is a no frills, get the information out there podcast, and I hope that you'll enjoy it. As an upper cervical chiropractor, I regularly take care of many different types of people at varying degrees of health, and over the upcoming episodes, we'll discuss many types of things that can be reduced or eliminated when you can rebalance your health at the level of your brainstem. So today I wanted to hopefully connect a few dots for you. Over the few years, it's been 10 years now, but sometimes I end up with types of cases that I don't see too often. And I think it's really because of the level of education that I just haven't put out there. So there are things for me, because I've had so much education, that I find totally normal or logical. And they really aren't so normal or logical for my patient base because they haven't had the same education that I have. And so this is one of those things that I realized just recently is not something I talk about often, and I thought I would share with you for today. So I have quite a few patients who have shoulder pain. And they either have shoulder pain with or without numbness and tingling into the arms, or they have numbness and tingling into the arms without the shoulder pain. And for many people, when they have those symptoms that creep in, I didn't realize until recently that they initially look into treatment options that are care for the shoulder. So they'll usually go to PT or something like that to try and help figure out what's wrong with the shoulder, or to try and create stability at the shoulder. And so many times the patients that end up in my office have either been referred in because they know somebody with shoulder pain that was able to get help, or they actually tried PT first and it wasn't as helpful or successful as it could have been because they were working at the point of symptoms instead of the point of the problem. So let me talk a little bit more about what I mean by that. So I had one patient who used to have shoulder pain in her arms, and she actually couldn't lift her arm past a certain point in terms of range of motion if she wanted to raise it up above her head. And she'd been doing PT for a while, and she thought it was helping a little bit, but she was just surprised that she couldn't actually get her arms up even higher. And when we actually had her come in for the exam, I always take x-rays because it's really important to know what the neck looks like, because there's many times that those neck issues are what's causing the issues further along down the chain, right? So especially if you have numbness or tingling into the arms, usually those little minor injuries and shifts in alignment that are at your C5, C6, and C7, those issues will then cause problems through the nerve roots and cause that numbness and tingling that go into your fingers, hand, wrists, elbow, all the way down that chain or up that chain. So you can have issues that are in the shoulder and arm, but they're being caused by those lower cervical bones. Being out of alignment, whether you have just misalignment or you have some bulging disc issues that go along with it. But it's really hard to get rid of that numbness and tingling if you're only assessing the shoulder and working your way down from there. The other thing is you could have an actual injury to the shoulder, and we definitely want to make sure that we do assess it and can see that, the shoulder isn't injured. But many times that shoulder injury usually happens secondary to the weakness that's already happening in the neck. So at some point you probably had a neck issue that wasn't severe enough for you to warrant thinking about it or taking care of it. And because then the neck had become weak, it caused the shoulder to become weak as well. And then you sustained the injury to the shoulder, or your body didn't hold up as well as it could have, or whatever it could have been. And so the neck usually ends up being the reason that the healing isn't happening as well as it could. So with this patient, we were able to, reset the level of the brainstem, see how all the bones shifted all the way along down the spine, and then all of a sudden she was able to lift her arms above her head, right, without that pain, tension, and numbness and tingling that was going into the arms. I had another patient who had an actual injury in the shoulder. There's a tear there that's never, unless he does surgery, that's never going to go back again. But there was a ton of pain involved, and he really just wanted better quality of life. And so he was referred in to have that check to see if the neck was preventing him from healing as best as he could. We did the x-rays, we saw that his neck was kind of a mess. And even just in the first few visits, even though we're not repairing the area of the injury, getting the pressure off the neck and the weight of the head off the shoulders has now made him become relatively pain-free. So you can see that even though there's still some injury in the shoulder, being able to actually reset the neck, reset the level of the brainstem, calm down that nervous system, and get your head back on top of your shoulders where it should be instead of in front of it, can reduce the level of weight, tension, and stress on your neck and shoulders that causes more pain. So we're able to help improve that quality of life, reduce the amount of pain, potentially improve range of motion, and help the healing process overall. So that's just a few things I wanted to share with you about shoulder pain and numbness and tingling into the arms and hands, because they are usually related back to the neck. So if you know someone that's got trouble with either of those things, I'd love to be able to see if I can help or find someone that I can refer to. That's all I have for today. I hope that you learned something new and that you have some useful information to improve your health. Don't take life too seriously. Stress makes everything worse. Enjoy this week as best as you can, and I'll catch you in 2 weeks. In the meantime, positively, purposefully live all out and reach out for help if you need it. I'm here for you.